What's up everybody, it's Matt from TDM Style here. Welcome back to the channel once again. Happy New Year, because by the time you're seeing this, because I've been lazy and fallen behind on my recording, but it's 2022 now, so I hope y'all had a great New Year, great holiday season. I hope you're all doing well. Now today we have something pretty special and something I've been meaning to do for quite some time, so I'm excited to get this in the works. We're doing a hopefully it's extremely comprehensive review and comparison between the Dyson Supersonic and the new Shark HyperAIR hair dryers. Now, this video is not sponsored by anybody. This is just me doing this, though I will say Shark was kind enough to provide this dryer for me. Dyson did not. I've actually had the Dyson for several years now. This was a gift that my wife got for me a while back. This is actually the second one, which we'll get to later. Now, I want to try to cover as much as humanly possible to give you guys the best, like, side-by-side comparison between these two if you're in the market for one, so you can decide which one you want to spend your money on. So we're going to look at everything. Now, obviously, we're going to look at their pricing structure. We're going to talk about the hardware specs, like how long are the power cords, how much wattage do these things have, how hot do they get, what sort of attachments and warranty do they come with, how much they weigh, what the ergonomics feel like, how loud they get, and of course, probably what most of you want to know about mostly is the drying time. So let's start out first with the pricing and what you get with these. So in other words, what attachments or other accessories might come with them. Starting out with Shark, this one is pretty easy. Now they have basically two different packages that you can get. The first is the package that I have. So this one is regularly $229.80. And with that, you're going to get, obviously, the dryer. You're going to get the 2-in-1 condenser nozzle and either the brush nozzle that I have here or the diffuser nozzle. Along with that, it comes with a 2-year warranty. Now for the second package, which is weird, it's just $20 more. It's $249.80 for this one. And that comes with all of their attachments. So you get the condenser nozzle, the brush, the diffuser, and their airwave thing for curls. It also comes with a non-slip mat, a few hair clips, and a 5-year warranty for $20 extra, which seems insane. Like, no one should buy the smaller end package. Like, just spend the $20 just for the 5-year warranty alone, even if you're not going to use the other attachments and stuff. For me, another 3 years on the warranty for $20 is well worth it. Now, at the time of recording this, they were doing a special promo. If it's, a future editing, Matt will have to put in something here if it's still going on. But at the time I was recording this, they were doing $20 off the higher end package, so you could get, instead of $249, it was $239, no, $229, or they were doing $50 off the $229 package, so you can get it for $179. I don't know if that was just like a Christmas time thing. Now, the pricing on the Dyson has it's a little bit weirder. There's a few more options, I guess you could say. Now, the base model, like I have here, is going to run you $399.99. So you're looking at $400, and you can get it in a bunch of different colors. So obviously, like the white and gray, or the dark gray and pink, or purple, or whatever. And that's going to come with 5 attachments these days. So the one that I have came with the precision styling one that I have here. It came with a slightly wider version of this for like rough drying, which is kind of pointless. I never use that one. It came with the diffuser and a non-slip mat. Now, if you buy it these days, you get a little bit more. So you get the styling concentrator, which is this one. You get the diffuser. You get a new one called the Gentle Air attachment, a wide tooth comb attachment, and their new flyaway, or I guess you could call it anti-flyaway attachment, which it's real fucking weird. It looks like an elephant's trunk. I don't understand how that's supposed to work. I would have to try that to understand it, I guess, but whatever. So you spend $400, you get the dryer, you get all 5 of those attachments. Along the same lines, I guess they just came out with a new one that's like Prussian blue and copper or something, which for some reason is $429. So if you want the new paint job, you got to pay an extra $30. It looks nice, but $30? Why? Additionally, you have some other options. They have, now this one, I'm gonna put this down. You can also, if you want to, for some weird reason, you can get the 23.75, not 24, 23.75 karat gold model, which I don't know enough about gold and its carat rating to understand what that quarter of a carat may or may not mean. But yeah, gold hairdryer, you know, because hedonism bot, whatever. So that one's $500, $499.99. That comes with all the same attachments, and it also comes with 3 free gifts. You get a detangling comb, a paddle brush, and a presentation case. Now the case actually does look pretty fucking nice. Okay, and then thirdly, we have the Pro model, which comes in at $449.99, so 450 bucks, meeting in the middle here. It does say they offer a discount for people with a verified hairstylist license. I'm not licensed, so I have no idea what that discount may be. If you're a licensed stylist and you know, please feel free to comment down below. Now that one, I don't know if there's any like real difference between the Pro model and the regular one in terms of like horsepower or whatever, because I couldn't really find many details about it on the website. It didn't really say like, oh, well, the Pro model also does this. It just seems that it comes with 2 salon gifts. So it comes with a salon storage thing. I'll put a picture up of it here, and a display stand. So I don't know if those are the only differences, but those are the only ones I could find. Now, regardless of which Dyson you might want to purchase, they all come with a 2-year warranty. So just looking at pricing alone, with no other information, obviously the Shark is considerably cheaper. I feel like that's kind of their thing. Like Shark will take, you know, make similar things to Dyson and similar quality, but offer them for a much more reasonable price, because Dyson is just known to be very expensive. Honestly, the biggest difference for me is the fact that on the Shark, you can get a 5-year warranty. You can still get the 2-year, of course, if you buy the cheaper package, but a 5-year warranty is huge. And so I want to mention that because I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is my second Dyson. So my wife got this for me as a gift. I think I've had this for like probably 4 years now. And one day it just stopped working. I went to turn it on and it just went pew, and it just would not turn on again. So I got on the phone with Dyson support and we tried a bunch of things, and they were like, you got to send it in for repair. Basically what ended up happening was it had some kind of defect with the overheating sensor. So it just thought that it was overheating, so it wouldn't turn on. Now my warranty was up, but it was like just up. And so I sent it into them anyway, and they said, listen, we'll take a look at it. If it can be repaired, we'll let you know how much it might cost, or if, you know, you have to get a new one, whatever, we'll let you know. Okay. So I sent it in. I waited like a couple of weeks, didn't hear anything. I was getting annoyed at that point, because I was like, listen, this is a fucking expensive dryer. Why is no one from support talking to me about fixing this thing? I had to call around different like depot locations to figure out where it was. And eventually they just sent me a new one free of charge in the mail. So that was a nice surprise, that I didn't have to spend any money to get it fixed, and I just got another one. I honestly did not expect that to happen, so that was nice. But yeah, just something to consider. I mean, because, you know, normally, like, yeah, people are like, warranties, yeah, whatever. And yeah, like, I'm not gonna buy a warranty on like a video game or something, but something like this that I'm using almost every day, and it's mechanical, it's got moving parts and shit. I want a kind of warranty where if this thing fails through no fault of my own, that I could get it repaired or replaced for free within the warranty period. So the fact that I can get a 5-year warranty with Shark over the 2-year with the Dyson is a pretty big deal. All right, now we can talk about some hardware specs, and these will be pretty quick to run through. So in terms of the power or the wattage that you're looking at on these, the Dyson clocks in at 1600 watts, and the Shark is almost the same. We're clocking in at 1680 watts. So what does that mean? Well, you know, typically when you're looking at professional grade hair dryers, the higher the wattage means the more powerful it's gonna be. So that means, you know, how fast can that air come out of there, and thus it kind of translates into how quickly will it dry your hair. It's a little bit different with these because these are like fancy and they have chips in there that regulate heat and things. So yeah, these are lower power. Like you might find it, you know, $25 Conair dryer that has 1800 watts, but the wattage doesn't really mean what it used to mean now that we have like technology inside of these fucking hair dryers. Now, the length of the power cord. This is something that is huge for me with any kind of hair dryer, and this is a main difference that you'll find when you're looking at a more professional level one versus like a cheap drugstore one. The drugstore ones always have garbage power cords. They're like this long and they're chintzy. Professional ones always have nice, thick, sturdy power cords, and they're always very long so that you can move around and have plenty of space to work with depending on where your outlet is. So the Dyson power cord, the website says it's 9 feet. I measured my own with a tape measure and it came out to 8'10", so a little shy, but I mean, so almost 9 feet. The Shark one is a little bit shorter, coming in at 8 feet 2 inches. Either way though, they both are nice and long. And the difference that I will say, on the Dyson, you have this kind of power brick at the end. The Shark one does not. So there's that. Now, in terms of the weight on each of these, for the Dyson, the website says it's coming in at 1.9 pounds. And for the Shark website, they're saying theirs comes in at 1.65 pounds. Now that's like total weight, including the power cord and everything, because I tried to put each one of these on my little kitchen scale just to get an idea, because I was like, well, that's weird, you know, so the Shark is lighter overall, but it feels a little bit heavier. So I put them on the scale and I came with just trying to get like just the, you know, the hairdryer itself, not including the power cord. The Dyson was right around 17.5 ounces, so just over 1 pound, and the Shark was 22.5 ounces, so the dryer itself was a little bit heavier for the Shark. All right, now let's start getting into drying specs. So first, I want to just take a quick look at the noise level, because, you know, especially if you're using one all the time, it's right near your ears, you know, when you're using it, people are concerned about that. Now, the Dyson actually does, it says right on the website in the specs, it says 77 decibels. The Shark, I couldn't find it on the website, but I have an Apple Watch that measures sound, so I did that, and I got the Dyson seemed to be hovering right around 78 to 80 decibels, so they're pretty much right where they were. And of course, maybe they tweaked things a little bit in the newer models, you know, mine's a few years old. And the Shark was peaking around 84 to 85 decibels, so the Shark was a little bit louder. Not like a tremendous amount, but definitely, you know, noticeably a little bit louder. Now let's look at heat level. So both of these dryers are, you know, touting that you're not going to heat damage your hair because they have a lower heat output, and combined with, you know, negative ion technology and everything else, and they have heat regulation sensors in them so that they don't go over, you know, a certain temperature. So I put these both to the test and I found they were about the same. The Shark seemed to peak at about 230 degrees Fahrenheit, and you will see that it does kind of regulate itself. It'll drop back down, you know, close to 200 and back up a little bit. And the Dyson seems to hover between 200 and 230 after like the initial, you know, whatever, 15 seconds that it took to get up to that heat. And the Shark was about the same. I think that peaked around 225 or 235 maybe. And then again, you'll see that one regulate itself, it'll drop back down. Now what I noticed was that the Shark temperature seemed to drop down farther. So it would go down to even like 170, 165, and then come back up. And so I don't know if that's a, you know, thing that they were actually dropping that much, or if it's just that my using this little infrared temperature gun and holding it in front of myself was, you know, it's not the most elegant solution for testing this. But those were the results that I got. Now, comparing that to, you know, some other more like a conventional type hair dryer for a professional one, I do know that they get considerably hotter. Andrew Does Hair did a nice little video on this about the Shark, and he mentioned that his like Babyliss Pro was reaching more like 275, 300 degrees Fahrenheit areas. So both of these are, you know, fairly lower in temperature than you would find in a standard, more conventional type hairdryer. And I'll say using them myself. I mean, I used plenty of standard hair dryers before, and they definitely got hotter. Like if I held it in one spot for even just a fraction of a second too long, my scalp was like, dude, what the fuck? Whereas, you know, these, they still get hot, but there's a lot more leeway, and you're not like worried about burning your scalp with either of them. And with that, we can get to, I guess, the culmination of all of this. We can look at the dry time. So I did a demo for each one. I set them up exactly the same way. So I started with freshly washed hair. I put in, I think, 4 spritzes of 25 spray, which is just a pre-styler that I always use. And then we took the time rough drying, and then separate like total time with styling. And I wanted to do that because I feel like when you're looking at just sheer numbers, like how fast does this thing get the moisture out of your hair? That's just rough drying. Because then when you're styling with a brush and smoothing the hair out and getting it and you're shaping it, that's going to depend on what you want and how difficult your hair is, and that at that point your hair is already dry anyway. So I figured I would test both. So I'm going to put these both side by side here, and I was actually kind of surprised. They were basically identical on both dryers. It was almost exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds rough dry time to where my hair felt basically completely dry. And then I went through styling with a brush, and this was just my kind of normal routine here. And by the time I got it to where I was, happy with the style I had going on, it was still the same, and they both clocked in at like 5.5 minutes total dry time. So I'll admit that surprised me, because I've watched, some other videos out there of people comparing these, and several of them have been like people with long curly hair, and so they've been testing the diffuser on both. And it seems almost unanimous that like the Shark diffuser had a much lower dry time than the Dyson. So I expected them to be at least somewhat different. I was surprised that they were like exactly the same for me. All right, so now I think we're at a point where I can just kind of give my opinions on things and some final thoughts. So as far as aesthetics, I think they both look great. The attachments for the Shark are a little bit bulky. I do wish they were a little bit smaller. And as far as the attachments on each, one thing, I like that the Dyson ones are magnetic. Like, that's just nice to be able to do that. The Shark ones, I don't think that they have a magnet in here, but they have this really satisfying click into place moment. And what I find really cool and different about the Shark attachments is that they kind of all have these dual modes. So like this condenser nozzle has this thing where you can slide it this way to widen it, and that's like your pre-style rough dry mode, and then you can slide it this way when you want more condensed airflow for styling. And another cool thing is when you attach these, it automatically changes the airflow and the heat setting on the dryer to be like the optimal one for that attachment. You can of course still adjust it with the buttons if you want to, but it is pretty neat that it just kind of does that automatically. In terms of the weight and just like the ergonomics, they do feel pretty similar. As I mentioned before, the Shark feels a little bit heavier, and I think that's just because there's more going on in this section of the dryer, whereas like the Dyson, the motor is in the handle and all that kind of shit. So this just does feel a little bit different, and like you can see this one has kind of an angled handle, whereas the Dyson is very perpendicular, straight up and down. For me personally, I find the Dyson to be a little bit lighter feeling, and my arm gets less tired using it. The Shark, especially if I'm using the brush attachment, my arm gets a little bit more tired. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but just worth mentioning. So another thing, these are both similar in that on the back of the dryers, they have your airflow and heat control. Your power switch is on the back of each. The same. The Dyson has the cool shot button on the back. The Shark has the cool shot button on the front. So almost identical in that respect. The only difference really is that the Dyson, you can hit the heat control and turn it all the way off. So you can basically have it doing cool shot without having to hold the cool shot button. The Shark doesn't do that with this heat control. You can get it either, level 1, 2, or 3. And then if you want it totally cold, you have to press the cool shot button. Not a big deal, just I like that I can, turn the heat off and not have to hold the button while I'm using it. But with the Shark having the cool shot button on the front, it is a little bit easier and less cumbersome to have to hold it while you're doing that. And in terms of just the other side, I mean, they both work great. I've been thoroughly enjoying using both of them. Now, I've been using my Dyson, as I mentioned, I've had this for several years now. The Shark I've had for, I don't know, maybe 4 months or so, and I've been using it pretty heavily just to really get a handle on it. I really do like both of them. The Dyson has a kind of special place in my heart because it was also a gift, from my wife, so that's just kind of special. But I really like the Shark too, especially I really actually enjoy this brush attachment for if I'm going for more like a forward fringy look. It just makes things really easy. And obviously now the pricing is a big factor. I mean, the Dyson is almost twice as much as the Shark. It's not quite, but it's almost twice. Unless you want to get the fucking gold one, then it is twice as much. I don't know why anybody would want a gold hairdryer. I feel like it would get hot. But if you want that for some reason, then you want to flash your cash and get a cool carrying case with it, sure, you can do that. As I mentioned before, I think it's the 5-year warranty option on the Shark is huge. I definitely think that is a big leg up over Dyson in terms of just having their customers be happy. You know, something goes wrong with the dryer, you can get it replaced for 5 years. Now granted, you know, you figure you're spending that amount of money, you hope that nothing will go wrong with it, but it's like anything else. There's chips and bits in there that do shit now. It's like buying a computer, you know, and so you could spend $2,500 on a Mac and have this amazing machine and have a hardware defect and, you know, get it replaced under warranty. So it's the same with hair drying technology now. You know, and so obviously in terms of just their usability and their effectiveness, they both dry the hair super fast. They do both regulate the heat nicely so they don't get super hot, so you don't really have to worry about heat damage unless you're just fucking around holding it in one spot for 10 minutes, in which case your scalp's gonna feel it too, so just don't do that. So I feel like, you know, technologically, they're both achieving the same things. I do like that the Dyson is a little quieter, to be honest with you. When I'm blow drying my hair for 5 minutes or so, and if it's close enough to my ear, I will notice the difference. It's not a huge difference, but it's noticeable enough. But yeah, honestly, I love both of them, so it really just kind of depends on how much money you want to spend, and maybe even just aesthetics of it at this point, I guess. But yeah, are they comparable? Abso-fucking-lutely. They're both great. So yeah, you have good options. So that wraps things up for this video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this and found it helpful. I know this is probably like a very long video, but I hope that it was informative for you if you're looking to buy one of these. I hope that I hit all the bases for you. And yeah, so thanks for sticking it out if you made it this far. Please stay tuned to the channel. I got lots of reviews and other stuff coming up real soon. So if you haven't already, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below to keep up to date with everything. And as always, thank you so much for coming by and watching. And we'll see you at the next one.